get through this somehow. I'm Mike AD, and this is This Week in Wrestling. On to Monday night. Raw emanates from the other kingdom, the United Kingdom, Manchester, England. Baron Corbin has the entire roster out on the stage. He has security surrounding the ring because you blindsided a 375-pound madman. You're a coward. He announces the traditional 5-on-5 Raw vs. Smackdown match and elects Ziggler, McIntyre, and Strowman to the team and names himself captain. This should be interesting. Alexa Bliss will captain the women's 5-on-5 Survivor Series team and not wrestle because she's concussed. We're getting Bayley, Sasha, Natalya against the Riot Squad again. And when you think this segment couldn't get any longer, Angle crashes the party and challenges him for his spot. Predictably, out comes Strowman. He eviscerates the security team. Corbin hightails it like the coward he is, and a Pier 6 brawl breaks out. Commercial break couldn't come too soon. Backstage, they have the audacity to ask if the result of this 6-women tag will be any different from what? The last 10 weeks? Let this end. My answer, my friend, is Jim Neidhart's glasses. Are you freaking kidding me? My TV is now in pieces. 2 segments, at least long, just to stick it to the fans. And there is no finish after a 20-minute plus TV match because Ruby Riott steals Jim Neidhart's glasses, breaks them, smashes them, and leaves them in pieces on the outside. Natalya breaks down into a sobbing heap while her tag partners console her. Lord have mercy. Don't bring your valuables to ringside. Strowman continues his animalistic rage. Now he's ripping apart the restroom area. Replay of the historic debacle in Saudi Arabia, and thankfully, that's all we get after months of build and millions of dollars later. On to the next network special. One-time WWE champion and 2-time jobber Jinder Mahal versus Apollo Catering in a match that just screams mid-card fodder. Sees the human highlight reel go over. Out comes Seth Rollins to say everything everyone's been saying about Brock Lesnar, once again being Universal Champion. He doubts how he can defend his tag titles without a partner, but no sooner does he doubt the possibility when Baron Coward puts him in a handicap match for the tag titles against, drumroll, AOP, a team who lost last week. Despite a good performance from Seth, AOP is fast-tracked to the top of the Raw tag food chain. Out comes Ambrose to feast on the carcass, while fans chant, "You sold out." I hate to tell you this, Manchester. To sell out means you gain financially in some way from the betrayal. It is more appropriate for you to chant, "Judas, Judas," than to say you sold out. He didn't sell out. Selling implies something such as loyalty was purchased for a price. I digress. And why? Week 2 of no explanation, he dirty deeds him and leaves. And after 2 weeks they ask Renee, "What the fuck is going on with your husband? She provides dick all." A replay of Becky's comments last week. This week, the hungry attack dog comes off the chain. Replay of the grossly epic opening segment, in case you forgot what happened just 70 minutes ago. Baron is hiding again. This time, it's in a storage room. He's not doing a good job of hiding. If the interviewer can find him, and right on cue, Braun breaks down the door and chase continues. Out comes Ziggler to claim he's still the best in the world, and now Elias interrupts him. He sings another good song, and we get an impromptu match that was once again very long. Had way too many rest holds, drunk fans chanting Seven Nation Army and Elias wins. This just hurts my soul. The Revival runs down the loser house party. We're getting a match at some point. Guess what? It wasn't tonight. Not enough time. Too many 20-minute rest holds. If you're too tired, put someone else on the show. You have a huge roster just aching to get on TV, but we get the same 12 guys recycled again and again. Mixed match challenge promo, Day 1 Glow versus the Fabulous Truth. Fast forward. This is live? Fuck. Angle has a fire lit under him. Hope it's not the same fire from Riyadh. That was very unimpressive bonfire. Out comes Rhonda. You are nothing compared to me. I'm a natural born killer. You may be the man, but I'm the baddest bitch on the planet. The only one on the roster who sounds genuine in her promos. Who's writing for her? Keep them. Fire the rest. Out comes Nia with a smile on her face. After you beat Lynch, I'll be waiting for you. Just fake words, fake emotion, just fake overall. Tonight we get Nia versus Ember 2. It's twice as good as last week, but we get the same result. Same as last week, Tamina comes out. You think you're getting a showdown, but Tamina lays out Ember, and then Jax joins her, turns heel. What do we call these two? The Twin Towers? Too soon? The Samoan Death Squad? It's overdue in my opinion. Finn Balor interview segment. We are getting Lashley and Balor again. But you know, Balor Club is for everyone. Sounds like he's running for political office. Fergal Devitt for everyone. Get your WrestleMania tickets. Sorry, got a mortgage to pay. Corbin sneaks out the back door, but not before substituting Drew McIntyre into his place. Time for Lashley versus Finn 3. Lio Rush getting worse every week, but at least the talking during the match has stopped. That is crowd-killing heat. All that flexing, showing the crowd his biceps, his hamstrings, his ass, then just continues to murder this crowd with his suffocating offense. In the end, having Lio Rush as a manager pays dividends. Stephanie will be here next week. Please go away. Alexa picks the women's team and Lesnar shows up. Must be some kind of a miracle. On to the main event, but before this one can get even started, McIntyre comes down, chases off Balor, helps him up, and then lays him out. Angle puts on a very good performance, but McIntyre would rather torture Angle than defeat him, giving him a Claymore, an Angle Slam, and then put him in the ankle lock until he taps out. Epic disappointment from this crowd. That's 3 weeks in a row that this show has ended on a downer. Can't you just give the fans one thing to be happy about? More heat for the heels. Endless authority angles in which the heels constantly go over until all excitement for the baby faces is lost. No wonder your audience drops 20% a year. On to Tuesday night, as Smackdown emanates from Manchester and a very lively crowd it is. Out comes the management team to brag about his World Cup victory to vociferous boos. He runs down the card because he realizes he's getting nowhere with this smart crowd. He begins to construct the men's 5-on-5 team for Survivor Series because we are running out of time. Out comes Daniel Bryan, who he names captain of the team. Out comes The Miz to brag, complain, and ultimately object. And somehow Shane names him co-captain, thereby starting the night of hilarity. CN Almas is back Jesus, every time this guy hops out of solitary confinement, he puts on a gem. Please come out for good. This week, he gets Mysterio. The New Day takes on the Usos to determine who is the captain of the Smackdown Elimination Tag Match team. Wow, this is going to be a lot of teams. Wow, who's on the Raw team? What's this going to be? 25 guys at ringside? Shane is backstage, stirring up dissent, and it leads to Shane being added to the 5-on-5 Survivor Series team. Shane. Of all the guys on SmackDown, Shane McMahon. The Usos beat the New Day and another gem, thereby becoming the captains of the team. They first do a respect angle, and then they add the New Day to the team. Meanwhile, The Miz is in the back trying to figure out why he isn't booked on TV shows. That's because you're a C-rate actor. Bryan picks Mysterio. The Miz says, "I'll think about it." Then they somehow agree on the method by which they pick the final member. And the budding bromance begins to grow. Becky Lynch rips off her Rousey shirt. Aren't those $20 on Shop Zone? Have some respect for your audience. Talk about a company that cancels pyro to save money, but every week rips up $500 of t-shirts. They replay the Ronda promo, then out comes Becky to respond. You're not a champion because you haven't been tested. Yet. Becky remains the most enjoyable and compelling character on SmackDown and on the main roster as a whole. She calls out for a fight and Sanity appears, with Nikki Cross in tow. Let's hope this is permanent now. Becky predictably wins this one. In the back, Bryan photobombs The Miz, then picks Jeff Hardy to go one-on-one with The Miz's choice, Samoa Joe. Shinsuke Nakamura says Seth Rollins is going to get a knee to the face at Survivor Series. What the hell happened to the guy who won the Royal Rumble? Mysterio and Cien Almas. A fresh match between two guys with different but compatible styles. That we don't get force-fucked on us every week. Almas is proving to be one of the most consistent and skilled guys in the company and continues to be overlooked. Ray wins because creative has nothing for Cien. Of course, then Randy sneaks up and RKO's Mysterio out of nowhere, thereby ending his very busy 35-second night. The Miz and Bryan are at it again, this time inserting Mysterio into the 5-on-5 match. The sexual tension continues to rise, and don't forget your WrestleMania tickets. Forget it. Got a mortgage to pay. AJ is in the back, reminiscing about his World Championship reign that began almost 1 year ago in Manchester. Remember the guy that he beat? Jinder Mahal? Then he says that he's going to beat Lesnar. Not bloody likely. Here's Paige to announce the 5-on-5 women's team for Survivor Series. Carmella? Wow. Short list. Not even R-Truth can get her over. Naomi. Sonya fricking Deville. Asuka. Poor Asuka. That you're even stuck in this group. And Charlotte Flair, who no-shows because she lacks confidence. Instead, Mandy Rose comes out looking wow and runs down everyone, instigating a catfight, leaving the SmackDown women's team in shambles. Mixed match challenge promo, bed and breakfast, says they're handing out hugs and losses. And I'm handing out middle fingers. Fuck off. Hardy and Joe work as hard as they can, but The Miz and Daniel Bryan's war at the broadcast booth is just overwhelming. In the end, Joe wins. Joe gets in Bryan's face. Bryan attacks Joe. Miz jumps in. Shane jumps in. And the SmackDown goes off the air with the men's Smackdown team also in total shambles. On to Wednesday afternoon with NXT UK, where we'll get Pete Dunne defending the UK Championship against Danny Burch. Creeping Death, Paul Mastiff takes on Damian Weir. I'm sure Paul Mastiff has taken shits bigger than Damian Weir. He proceeds to steamroll poor Mr. Weir, and that's it. Replay of the cups of coffee becoming 3 cups of coffee, and laying out Flash Webster and Mark Andrews. Tonight we get the explanation. A feature on Ligero. I thought this guy was a one-off, and he also can't talk through a mask. We get a feature on James Drake. I assume these guys are going to fight. Ginny. She's money. Has looks. But can she wrestle? Otherwise, fuck off. Ligero versus the British Brian Kendrick, James Drake. Ligero goes over, beating the generic looking guy. Toni Storm is backstage. She runs into Dakota Kai. These two are also vying for the non-existent NXT UK Women's title. They respect each other, and Toni looks drunk. Zach Gibson gets Amir Jordan next week. God help him. This guy could barely be heard through the incessant chorus of boos. Hated is a generous word. Ashton Smith comes out for a match, but he gets his ass kicked by the 3 cups of coffee. Joe Coffey cuts a furious promo as drunk, self-obsessed, smart fans chant and sing 7 Nation Army to distract and drown him out. All power to Joe, who didn't seem rattled. What a bunch of pricks. Webster, Mark Andrews, and Ashton Smith, fresh off an ass-kicking, show up at the GM's door to demand something be done about those coffee boys. We'll see what happens. Sid Scala, out to play victim again. This time it's former school principal Eddie Daniels in his debut. Damn, this guy is boring. And this match was painful. The only thing good was Scala's selling. Made a very unremarkable wrestler look much better. Next week we get Dakota Kai against Storm. And those 3 beat-up guys, they get the 3 cups of coffee. Then Danny Burch gets a shot at Pete Dunne for the UK title, having won 1 match. Pete's had this title for the last 450 plus days. Burch leaves his blood, sweat, and tears in the ring, but still loses. What a performance. This title reign appears like it's not going to end, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Dunne is one of the best performers on the entire brand extension. That includes the main roster. What a workhorse. Time for NXT. Heavy Machinery take on the Forgotten Sons to kick off this one. This was a war that was hard to watch at times, but the big boys in yellow pick up the win with an exciting finish. Candice LeRae wants Nikki. We're going to get an explanation from Gargano, and Velveteen Dream goes one-on-one with the rabid gorilla Lars Sullivan. An interview with Shayna and the MMA entourage. Wow, Regal crashes it, and thankfully, and tells her it's going to be a best 2 out of 3 falls. She is pissed. Dakota Kai takes on the judo supermodel Tainara Conchi. These two work very hard and very well together. They both worked extremely well and in a hard match, and Dakota picks up the win. Maya Yim is living the dream, apparently. Wait till you get to the main roster. Anyhow, Bianca, she's a bitch who chews loudly, and she has a very high self-esteem and an exaggerated sense of self-worth. I'd chop off that 4-foot ponytail while she slept. Replay of the impressive Matt Riddle debut. It feels good, bro. You know what feels bad? Getting your foot broken because you don't wear boots. Ask Rosev. Guaranteed. One broken toe, and that guy is wearing boots. Good to see Keith Lee has a friend, but Cassius Ohno looks like he's on a collision course with his new buddy. A replay of last year's War Games, reminding us how hellacious it was, and how great these 8 men have been over the past 12 months. Why, Gargano, why? Not personal. God, getting sick of hearing that. Let me guess, it's sexual? Nope, it's collateral damage. He's in his way for the NXT Championship, and he's going to leave him lying again at War Games. This heel turn, or swerve, or whatever it is supposed to be, doesn't work unless Gargano is the babyface. Otherwise, the last 2 years means nothing. Maya Yim gets Bianca Belair next week. I hope she shaves her bald. We're also getting a match to determine who gets the advantage in the War Games match. Trust me, the heels will win. They always do. Lars then takes on the Dream. This was a very entertaining match until Ciampa escapes the storage container he's been living in and distracts the Dream, causing him to drop this one to Lars. He then goes to town, but then Velveteen turns the tables, leaves Ciampa laying, and holds up the title. Wow. A TV show that ends without the heels standing tall week after week. What a novel concept. On to 205 Live. And there's a packed episode this week. The Mask Collector. Everyone's favorite douchebag, TJP, teams up with one half of the love couple, Michael Bennett, to take on the Lucha House Party, who are pissed at TJP's blatant disrespect for Lucha Libre culture, and then kiss a piñata. The little guys get a measure of revenge here with the use of a decoy mask and pick up the win. Cedric Alexander is in the Performance Center trying to find himself when who shows up? Everyone's favorite individual, Lio Rush, and his 8-inch neck, challenging Alexander to a fight next week. And to show you what we're in for next week, Lio takes on Turbo Josh Morrell. Wow, this guy is quick. Man, this guy must be 80 pounds of gold. He dissects poor Josh in 96 seconds, cuts the best promo of his career while the crowd chants, "Boring?" Wow. Mustafa Ali, the guy you want to cheer for, but can't seem to win the big one, cuts a mean promo. This guy is full of these great promos. Maybe he can share them with the writing team, because this scripted promo era has to go. And Stephanie too. You can go. He punched his ticket for Survivor Series last week. Looks good. Gulak and Gallagher take on Akira Tozawa and the guy who beat the shit out of Tozawa 6 months ago, the Brian Kendrick. If you get stuck in the 205 Live mid-card, you are as good as dead. Buddy Murphy, excuse me, versus Mark Andrews, two guys with ordinary names. What happened to the era where the big boss man took on the Undertaker? It's like Joe Schmo versus Rob Smith. Regardless, these two guys tore the house down. Are you sure Buddy Murphy made weight? These guys' pecs look like they're 205 pounds. These two guys make you wonder, why the hell is nobody watching this frickin' show? Just a good episode overall. Murphy gets Mustafa Ali at the Survivor Series pre-show. That's it for This Week in Wrestling. I saved 67 minutes of my life this week because I stopped caring. Don't like the McMahons. All over the product? It's called nepotism. Don't like the language? I don't give a shit. Don't want to hear about Stephanie McMahon anymore. Stop giving her more chances than a drug addict when she can't get over. And then say other people can't get over. Don't like the content? I didn't create it. I'm just a security guard. I just observe and report. Until next week, this has been the Knights of the Squared Circle Wrestling Podcast. This week in wrestling. Good night. And Shane McMahon? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? Shane McMahon? Fuck. Shane McMahon. Are you fucking serious? Best in the world, Shane McMahon. Fuck.